Okay, so here is our second 33-inch Hantarex Polo in a series of 3 here in quick succession. And this one is in pretty dire straits. It is complete. However, it does have the, unlike the first one that I had that bad D127 on that threw me crazy, this one does have the harness for the remote board, and the remote board is complete. It's missing all the pegs, but you guys know I got plenty of those. The one thing I did notice here is that, like I say, it is complete, and it does have the original 33-inch flyback, the Eldor 1242-5004, and I believe the Eldor 1242-5001 is the 25-inch, 25-28-inch. So it has the original 33, so we'll have to change that flyback out if we want to convert this back to 25-inch. And the horizontal width coil is burned and broken. Burned and broken. That's a good name for a metal song. Burned and broken. I'm sure there's one out there already. But fortunately, I have a couple of donor chassis that I was able to steal one from, so we can replace that, no problem. But that's, other than that, that's the only thing I really see. Now, it looks like the filter cap's bulging here, but it's actually not. It's just a black plastic cover. If I was to just kind of pop this off of here, yeah, see, it's just a black plastic cover, but the cap itself is not bulging at all. So sometimes it's not the cap, it's just this little plastic piece. All right, so if we're giving this a good look over, it's fairly clean. Looks like it's in decent shape. That resistor is solid. That resistor is solid. Always check that. Do we have any caps or resistors that are out of circuit? Oh, that's loose, but that's just the degauss connector. Not worried about that. A lot of times this capacitor will get knocked out of circuit from getting banged and all that stuff, but everything looks fairly complete. Nothing too out of norm. Let's remove that. And this is that original pincushion board for the 33-inch that the 25-28-inch doesn't have, that I talked about in the last video. So let's flip this around, and I'll show you something in a minute if you didn't already see it. But if we look at the power supply section, let's wiggle this resistor. Nope, that's fine. This one here is fine. If we look at this, and we'll look and see if there's anything. Okay, the solder joints on the AC input are good. Just looking around. I don't see any cracks around here like the first one that I worked on in the previous video. This all seems okay. I don't see any breaks or anything in the power. This looks okay. So we may luck out here on this power supply without having to do any work to it. But the major issue, the only thing that I see on this, I've already kind of given this a good look over. The only thing that I found on this that makes me go, oh, we're going to have to do some repair, is this. Somehow this got whacked, and this got whacked from the bottom side. Something hit that from the bottom side. So, but that is completely repairable. That is on the back side of the ferrite core here. You can actually see through the board right down in there is where the crack is. So that got bashed from the underside. Bashed from the underside. There's another good metal song for you. But we should be able to, it's just this one trace right here, this one trace right here, and then the ground plane here. We can fix that fairly easily. I don't see that being a problem, but we don't have to fix that at all to test and work on this power supply. So the first thing that I want to do is forget to turn my iron on, but I need to lift one leg of this little TP6, lift that leg out so we can isolate our power supply, and then do a light bulb test to see if we have any issues with the power supply. Then we can kind of wipe our B plus pot back and forth. Actually, you know what? Let me do that while we're waiting here. Here it is. Let's go back and forth here. And we'll put this about dead center. And the B plus on the Hantarex Polos likes to run, well, it doesn't like to run, it runs at 138 volts DC is what it's supposed to run at. And this light bulb, this 8 watt LED light bulb that I have, it when you adjust it to around 142 volts DC, it ends up being around 138 when it's running on the picture tube. So this is going to be hopefully somewhere around 142. Well, assuming that it even works, and I don't need to recap the power supply first. There's no broken traces. I need to get this jumper out first. Assuming all that works, our B plus should be somewhere around 142 volts DC when the light bulb is running. Okay, that is out and loose. Let's lift that out and man, I can't get the screwdriver under there. That's the right side, right? Yeah. I can't get the driver under there, so let's just do it the proper way. There we go. Every time you try to just do it the quick way, it's never the right way. So now that's out, so we can clip one leg of the bulb onto the frame, other leg onto TP, well, not TP6 anymore, but that jumper for TP6. Then we need to grab a couple more of these so we can ground. Actually, we don't even, yeah, we need it. So we'll ground that to here, like so. And we'll grab our positive and clip that onto here as well. Make sure you're not touching the ground, which it's not. Okay, and then our meter here. We're hoping for somewhere around 142 if this works. And we'll grab our power and plug that in. And our sockets look pretty good. We don't need to really crush those down. Good pin tension there. Okay, we're hoping for the light bulb to light up. We're hoping for around 142 volts here. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 144. Okay. Well, right off the bat, functional power supply. All right. Let's go down to 142-ish. And we'll leave it about, we'll do 142.8. How about that? Okay. Now, kill this, and you'll see that it's bleeding down, and it just flashed real quick, and it'll wait for it to bleed down to about to 0. You'll see it make a big jump here from like 50 to 0. That 54 to, well, 42, 35. There it goes to 1 volt. So, okay, now it's safe to handle without any risk at all of shocking their filter caps, things like that. And we can take our meter, put it away, and disconnect our power. And all right, we have a functional power supply. We can move on to our repair. And then we can cap it, reflow it, and start doing the mod to take it back to 25-inch. And I documented all that in the last video, but I didn't do an actual live demonstration of it, so we'll do that this time. Okay, power supply is functional. You might still get a little zap here when you put this back in the circuit, so you want to kind of try to do it without touching it. Nope, it's good. Okay. And we will solder that back in, because like I say every time, I always forget to do that, so I gotta try and remember to do it immediately. Okay, that's back in. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can use our driver here and push that crack back down. Not quite. It's going to be difficult here. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do this, because that is... I don't want to break the entire thing off, because when it got pushed down, the surrounding material moved out of the way, and then when this thing came up, the surrounding material went underneath it. So you almost have to remove the surrounding material and then push this down, and it's just not easy to do. Okay, so that's better. I had to kind of crack it there, but that's fine. So I'm not sure really the best course of action on how we're gonna, so that's much better. I'm not sure how we want to do this here. I think just for the sake of having a strong, it's also cracked across here. We'll have to reinforce that, and it's cracked across here as well. So we'll have to reinforce that. So let's start by going here. See if I can do this left-handed so we can watch, but I'm going to expose as much of this as I can. And again, this is a spot sanding pen, and I'll link that down below. And this is actual real fiberglass, boys and girls, so you want to do your best not to get this in your skin or on your workstation. So I'm going to pick this up and turn it upside down over my trash can and use my little bristle brush to bristle brush it all away. Can you bristle brush away? Can you bristle brush away? Okay, so let's go ahead and fix these. All right, that should be good. Now, how do we want to handle the rest of this? It's probably the same thing, you know. We can lose our pen and then find it here. So we'll hit this. And then we can hit this. That should be good. And I'll clean this off just like I did the last one. All right, I just hope this wasn't powered up like this. If someone tried to power this up or something like this, we know our power supply is good, so I'm not sure what would have happened to this thing if somebody tried to power it up in this state, but Okay, I think that will work. So we need to do this here. So we can do that real quick. That's going to be just fine and dandy. And we'll reflow all the rest of this while we're at it. Okay. Yeah, it looks like garbage there. That's better. All right, so now we're down to, well, we need to do this now. Oh man. Nice. Okay. I think that will work for that. We're not cracked there. So we just need to take care of, it looks like, these two traces. This one's not actually, I don't think that one's actually broken. Meter and continuity, and if we go from here to here, it is broken. Okay, yeah, it's broken. Okay, we can fix that with a component leg, and I wonder, is that one of our caps that we have to replace? Is that a leg of a cap that we have to replace? This one is. We might as well replace that cap then while we're at this. Let's just go ahead and do that. Yep. That's this one. So let's clean this up a bit. All right. Okay. So since we have to change that anyway, what cap is that? That is that is C172. So let's grab our bag of caps here, and we'll look for C172. There it is. This cap's the same on the 33-inch and the 25-inch. The only two caps that are different between the 25 and the 33 are C170, which I think is this one here. No, it's 174. 174, and 170. The width cap and then this high voltage cap here. So those are the only two that are different, easy for me to say. So let's get this replacement one in here since we have to change it anyway. Well, we don't have to, but I always do as a matter of preventive maintenance. Okay, right in there, look at that. All right, and did I put that back in there? I sure did. All right, we'll leave that out for now. And okay, and we'll zoom back in here. And we'll get this put back in. All right, and we have to, I'm going to go ahead and solder this real quick. Then I want to add a bridge across here, right, just like that, for strength. And I realize that I think that's actually still cracked right there. I think the crack is right there, and I didn't go far enough to the right there. Nope, I don't think I did. It's all connected via, it comes back around, you know, it's a ground's a ground. It's all still connected to ground. I mean, if I was to go to ground here and touch, so I'm just going to touch the frame here, and if I touch this side here, oh no, look at that. I was wrong. Here's this side to ground. Here's this side, and over here we don't. So I was right, the crack, I didn't go far enough. Man, see, I even make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I would have found that eventually, but there we go. Let's just do one big, just for added strength, we'll do one big happy bridge here, if this will let me. The gap is too far. Can I use gravity to my advantage? Nah, the gap is too far. All right, we don't have to. That'll work. It'll be all right. So, looks like garbage, but there we go. Yeah, like I say, it doesn't matter what this looks like as long as it's functional. That's all you're interested in, is making sure it's functional. So don't worry about, you know, if you ever have to do this kind of repair, who cares what it looks like? Don't worry about, it's not a beauty contest. So the next thing we want to do is we have to fix this trace and this one. Okay, so we need to, let's see. Okay, that should be plenty there. And we'll have to get some component legs. And I want to use some somewhat beefy ones, not some little boy sissy ones. These will work. Little sissy girl. So we can just go like something like this. Straighten that out. I'm not going to be able to, but something like this for that one. And let's see here. Let's. Okay. And then we'll use this one. For here. Alright, now you are a 100 volt 10 axial. Put that back where I got it. Okay. Now, should be able to just do something like that. Hold this in place. Just like so. Same thing over here. Hold this in place. This one moved on me, but that's fine. We'll move it back. And I don't like that one being so close to that. Let's move that to the other side. There we go. I like that better. Okay, now we'll bend that over slightly. We'll bend that over slightly. We'll bend that over slightly. Okay, now that one. Okay, I think that is acceptable. And let's bend that over a little bit. Well, it won't let me. There we go. Okay. Let's clean that up and take a better look at it. I'll just douse the area here in alcohol, and we'll clean all this up. All right. And let's take a look here. And we'll do some testing. So we're not shorted to that one. We're not shorted to that one. We need continuity from here to here. Yeah, and here. Oh, you can't see, sorry. From here to here. In here, there, around to here. Okay, from here to here, no continuity, that's correct, down to here. Okay, that's good. Let's zoom out slightly here, hang on, let's try this again. So this should all be one big trace. Okay, so that's good. So this is all good. Now if we go to here and all the way through to here, see now we're good. If we go to ground, now we're good. So all the way through here is good. We should not have continuity to either. Actually, no, this one is supposed to because it's connected to ground through a component over here. Yeah, that's normal. This one not. Correct. Okay, so here to here. Good. Here to, yeah, see, this is all ground. Yeah, so even though this is a separate trace, it connects to ground through this. So that's correct. As a matter of fact, you know what? To make this even more secure, we can go like that. That'll be even better. Because that's all connected. That's all connected through this big trace right here. So yeah, I think that's going to be good. I want to do one more right here. I'm going to do one more right there. Okay. There was a tiny little crack in there. And we'll hit that one. And I am confident that that will be good. Nice, okay. All right. And actually, you know what? Let's just do one big one, just like that. There we go. All right. I think that will be good. Now, I'm not going to go through and put some, paint on here or whatever until we test this, make sure it's all good. Then we'll go through and put the paint on there. But that should be good. This is all one big ground, so if we go here to here, good, here. So that's all good through there. Here goes through this to here, 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 here. Okay, that's good. This one should not ring to ground, and it should come through down to here. This one does connect to ground through that trace through to here. And we're all good. This should be all ground as well. This should not ring to any of that stuff. It doesn't. All right, I think that is a repair, a successful repair. So, yeah, I'm gonna give this one final good look over, and I don't see anything else wrong. We'll just go ahead and fire it up exactly as it is. It's gonna be way too big on the screen. It should run just fine on the 25-inch tube, even though it's higher voltage, because I do believe that this Flyback outputs, I think, 30,000 volts versus 24,000 volts. Now that I say that, actually I think it might not be a good idea to try it, but you know what? For the sake of entertainment and the sake of content, let's try it. What's the worst that could happen? Are those famous last words? What's the worst that could happen? But I'm curious. What's the worst that could happen? Nothing's going to happen that I couldn't fix it. But out of curiosity, let's check and make sure that the HOT is at least good. That guy resides here. Negative in the middle should be 0.43 to 4.45 voltage drop to each outer leg. 0.47, that was close. So HOT is good. You know what? This may just fire right up. And that'd be great if it does. That's going to be oh, I forgot about this. Never mind, I forgot about that. We'll change that out. But this may just fire right up. If it does, then all we have to do is reflow, recap, and change the flyback and do the deconversion, which I'll talk about here. But yeah, let me change this. I'm going to change this out, and I'll come back and I'll have it on the tube ready to test. I do want to go ahead and put a couple of these things in all of the adjustments. So let's put one in there. I'm going to end up removing this board, but I want to just so I can adjust it if I need to. We'll put some in there. gonna need to put some pegs into here. They're gonna need to come in, get put in here anyway, so. And I've got even these here. Oh, wrong one. And I will say that if you have vertical collapse, it's not uncommon for this 250, or this is actually 100 volt 1 microfarad. That cap, don't overlook that cap. It's tied directly to your vertical amp pot, and if that cap is bad, that'll cause vertical issues as well. So don't overlook that. Okay, is that all of them? That's all of them. Never before has a boy wanted more, except all of them. All right, I'm going to get this changed out. When I come back, I'll have this on the tube, and we'll go ahead and see what it does. Okay, so I went ahead and got the coil replaced. Here is the all broken, falling apart, burned one, all sitting there. I'm assuming this is the same microhenries. May not be, but I don't think it's going to be that crucial. Yeah, so I didn't notice anything else wrong, so I went ahead and hooked it all up, and the neck board was in good shape, but I forgot to mention that I put, well, I didn't mention it because I just did it, but these were all missing too, so I put pegs in those so we can adjust those if we need to later on down the road. Right now we're just going to see if it turns on and does anything. So that being said, I actually need to turn the overhead light off here. There we go. And, okay, I didn't hook up the B+. Let me grab, hang on, we're gonna do this all live here. Let me hook this back up to TP6, right on the output of that coil. And see if I can plug this on here. There we go. Nope, there we don't go. There we don't go. Can't see anything. What a mess this is. Don't judge me. Who are you to judge? Don't judge me. Okay, now negative needs to go on the DAG here, like so. Then we can just go ahead and clip that onto here, like so. Alright, now we can test our B+. Assuming it turns on. Like I say, I'm pretty sure this higher high voltage output, but we're just going to see if, can you directly run a 33-inch Polo on a 25-inch Polo tube? I'm assuming that you can, but we got our anode, neck, yoke, ground, power, video remote all hooked up. TPG will turn it on. And for science, here we go. 1, 2, 3. No, it's just making a ticking noise. That is a very energetic ticking noise that I have never heard. I've never heard it that loud before. I didn't see our B+. That almost sounds like a flyback problem. It's very loud. That chirping noise is not coming from the HOT or power, so it's coming from this. Listen. Interesting. B+ is bleeding down. It could be caps. I'm just turning the screen pot there for a minute. No. But that sound is coming from the flyback. If you were here in person, you would hear it. We know our power supply is good, so unless we have 99.999% sure our repair is good, and that noise is coming directly from the power supply. I wonder what our power resistors here read. One of them should be, I think, 2.2 ohms, something like that. I'm not even going to be able to do this here. 2.2K, so that one's good. This one's around 5 ohms. Yeah, 4.8. So those resistors are good. Are they in circuit? Yeah, they're not loose. So I think we're down to either our repair is not good. It could be shut down also. Let's borrow one of these. Can I borrow one of these? No, you can never just take these directly out. Okay. I wonder if our shutdown pot is someone's been tweaking our shutdown pot. Oh yeah, the shutdown pot's maxed out. The shutdown pot was completely maxed out. So let's go about halfway. That shutdown pot was maxed out. What dumbass was messing with that? Pardon my French. So now that I've put that shutdown pot back into the middle position, let's hook our B plus back up. I know this is a very roundabout way of testing. I normally just do all this stuff a lot easier, but this is the amateur channel. Don't forget. Okay. Does it work now? Well, that's weird. There we go. How about now? 1, 2, 3. No. That is weird. It's got to be the flyback. There must be some type of incompatibility. I don't think that's the issue, though. I think the flyback is simply faulty because there has to be a reason why this was dumped into a lot of 3 non-working chassis, or for spare parts. There has to be a reason this was dumped into that pile, and so there's obviously something wrong. Is it the poly caps? Is it the electrolytic caps? Is it the flyback? I don't know. I was hoping to see if you could just directly run a 33 inch on a 25 inch, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to test that because there's something wrong here, and it sounds like it's the flyback. We'll try it one more time. Yeah, that's coming from the flyback. Well, let me try this. Let me do a cap kit, do a reflow, change all these poly caps out, but leave that flyback in, and then we'll try it again after that. So let me get all that done. I'll come back and we'll test it with that original flyback, but all the rework done. If it still doesn't work, then I'll throw in a correct 25 inch flyback and see. So I'll leave. Well, I don't know. Because I have to. A couple of the caps I have to change out C144 because it's different on the 33 inch, and I have to change C170 and 174. I talked about that. I might as well just do the 25 inch conversion. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see if we can get the third one to run unmodified on a 25 inch tube. So this one might appear to be a lost cause. So I'm going to change the flyback. I'm going to do all the cap kit, the reflow, do the deconversion of taking out the pincushion board and changing those 3 caps out along with the other work that needs done. Let me get all that done. I'll come back and it'll officially be in a 25 inch configuration with all the rework, and then we'll test it again, and if it still doesn't work, then we know that we have a problem somewhere else. But I'm 99.99999% sure our repair is good, but just in case, I'll look it all over again, and if I find something, I'll come back with this still like this. If not, then I'll just come back with all the rework done, and we'll try it from that point. Well, just like that, all the work is done. And I did find something very interesting that was very likely the cause of our flyback not working. And it definitely was the flyback, because off camera I was testing it a couple of more times, and you could put your hand on the core here, the ferrite core of the heatsink, and as you pushed on it, the pitch of that ticking would change. And also if you held your fingers on there, you could feel the flyback going click, 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 click. Just like a relay. If you hold your finger on a relay, you can feel it clicking, clicking, clicking. Well, that's what was coming out of this. So what I found was very interesting. So here's an example of why you always want to change these poly caps. This cap and that cap and this cap and that cap and this cap here and that one over there and the 2 over here and the 2 in here. Because C176 down inside of here, this guy right there, that orangish burgundy cap, that cap was bad, and here it is. And if we look at it, yeah, it's not good. It's bulging out the side. There you go. It's bulging out the side. And not only that, if we check it with a meter, it reads 5.3 k ohm. I don't know if you can see that, 5.3 k ohm. So that should not read 5.3 k ohm. It should be open or in the mega ohm. So what's also interesting is that I used my tester here to test this. And you can see here that if I turn this on, it says it's just fine. Hold on, 4.09 volts. 4.09 volts, and okay. Now if I put this in the tester here across 1 and 2, close this down and press the button, it puts my tester into like a protection mode. See, it says charge the battery, 2.32 volts, and shuts off. So it's like killing, it's shorting something out. It says charge the battery. Oh, you can't see it. It says charge the battery, and then well, it shuts off anyway. Okay, see, without pressing the little thing down here, it's 4.08 volts, and it's just fine. Now if I close the lid here, it's hard to stay in there. There we go, and press the button. It immediately says charge the battery, 2.3 volts. So this thing, I think this was the reason that the Flyback was going crazy like that. We had well, for all intents and purposes, a shorted capacitor. But I don't know if this capacitor is what was causing the Flyback to do that, or if the Flyback is faulty and caused this damage to the cap. I don't know if it's this causing that or that causing this. So I'm just going to play it safe, and well, I have to change the Flyback anyway because I'm putting it back to 25 inch, but I'm going to play it safe and just assume that this Flyback is no good. But as you can see here, that this is definitely the 33 inch version, because we have 1242.5004, and the 25-28 inch Flyback is 1242.5001. So this is definitely the original 33 inch Flyback. Now, like I said, I'm not 100% positive that the Flyback is the culprit, but you know, there's got to be some reason that this cap went short, and it's right off the Flyback circuit. So I have to assume that the Flyback went bad and took this out. So we're just going to go with the working hypothesis that this Flyback is bad. So we're not going to reuse it, obviously. And then here are all of the faulty parts. We had our horizontal width coil that was burned and destroyed, and then there's the components that are different. I'll link down below, like I did in the previous video, to this one where I repaired the first 33 inch Polo and converted to 25. Down in the description I'll put the differences between the resistors. There's like a dozen resistors and a capacitor that are different between the 33 inch and the 25-28 version, but as far as I could tell, they're not absolutely necessary to replace them, because I was running this for a couple of hours, the previous one, with all the 33 inch resistors in there, and it's just fine, perfect square image, no problem. So the only components that you absolutely have to change is C144, because on the 33 inch it's a 2200 microfarad cap, but on the 25-28 it's a 1000 microfarad cap. That's this guy here. So you have to change that out. You have to change out C170, which is the horizontal width cap. It's a 0.56 cap on the 33 inch, but it's a 0.39 cap on the 25-28. And then C174 is a 0.01, no, the 25-28 is a 8200 microfarad, and this is a 0.01 picofarad, I think. But C170 and C174 got to be changed, and you have to remove the linear, or the I forget every time, pincushion board. The pincushion board that normally resides, like right here you saw earlier, that comes out. So you take this out, you change out this cap, C144, you change C170, you change C174, and that's all you really, and of course the Flyback. You have to make sure it has the correct Flyback in there, the 5001, the 5001. So yeah, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components. Those are the 5 components that are a must when you're changing from 33 to 25 or vice versa. But anyway, so with that all being said, I'm going to set this stuff aside here. And it's time to put this back on the tube and try it. So that I got the full reflow done, the full cap kit done, including the filter caps. I changed the cap on the remote board, did all the rework to the neck board. Everything is clean and ready to go. I did verify once again that our repair here that we did is good to go. Compared all the readings and traces and things like that to a working one, so we know that's all good. So that wasn't our problem. Our problem was that C176 cap that was shorted. That was our problem. But yeah, I'm sure the flyback was the cause of that. So this is all clean and ready to go now too. So let's get this back on a tube, and hopefully it turns on at least, and then it'll be a step in the right direction. And if there's any other issues after it at least turns on and operates, then we can kind of go from there. But tested everything else. Did we test R167? We tested R167, I think, but that was good. It's 2.2 ohms. R177 is 1.1 ohms. So we shouldn't have any collapse problems unless there's something wrong with the trace or another D127 issue like the last one of these things that drove me crazy. But so, okay, back on a tube, we'll hook up B+, and if it does fire up, we can make sure B+ is 138. If not, we'll adjust it. See if it comes on, do any other issues, if any other issues pop up, and let's just see if it works and how it operates after we fire it up. So let's see what happens. All right, so we're all hooked back up. We got our anode, neck, yoke, ground, power, video, and remote all hooked back up. The critical 7 that you always want to make sure you have hooked up prior to turning on a chassis you just got done working on. We have our B+ ready to go. Again, it hooks to TP6 right there, or that side of the output side of that coil there that I have it hooked to with that little right there by the cap, so that works just fine as well because that's hooked up to TP6. If you recall before, our shutdown pot was maxed out, so I put it back to the center position and I put a little peg there to make it easier to adjust if we need to. And we're hooked up for B+. Ground goes to here. Let's turn our TPG on. And cross our fingers that changing that bad C176 out along with the flyback and all the other rework here gets this up and going, and we can work on this from there. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Okay. 133. And it works. I did turn the flyback up a little bit because they come turned all the way down. Oh, outstanding. Vertical frequency. Boys and girls, yes, okay. Let's turn this focus a little bit. Roughly there's about as good as it gets, but it's a little bit too contrasty. Brightness works slightly. That's all the way down. It's hard to really... Yeah, brightness does work. Barely. No, but I'm not really too worried about it. Let's adjust our B+ here. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's adjust our B+. Where's my driver? There it is. So this particular pot has the slot in it that I can't put a peg into, so we're going to have to adjust it the old-fashioned way. And 138 is what we're looking for. 138.1. Fantastic. And man, that looks great. All right, so B+ is good. It's operational and working, so we definitely had that C176 was most likely the cause of our problem. But I don't know if the flyback was actually bad and took out 176 or vice versa, but doesn't matter because that had to come out anyway for the replacement correct one to go in, so no big deal. But let's get the camera on the tripod and do some adjustments and colors and things, and I'll put a real PCB on here for better real life, for real world applications and do all that. So let's get that done and see how that turns out. Okay, I'm not sure why we have the slow shutter like that, but anyway, all right, so B+ is still spot on, 138.2. So I am going to turn this off and discard this PPG, and we're going to hook up an actual board here. We're going to use our trusty Mortal Kombat 2 board. I'm not sure why I disconnected that, but I meant to put the jumper on here. Okay, so MK2, here we go. All right. Okay, right on, and we are still 138.5. And okay, we need to adjust our linearity. Look how squished these bottom ones are compared to the top ones. I'm going to try and get a little bit lower here so you're not blinded by that light. And there's something on the camera lens there, but okay, let's adjust this linearity. We're going to have to go into the menu here, and actually we got to turn everything up here. So contrast down, brightness down, screen pot up. We'll go back down to right about there. I lost my sync. There we go. Turn it back down, roughly there. Brightness, oh yeah, full. There's brightness all the way up, brightness all the way down. Full brightness control, that's good. Contrast. Oh my lord, that looks good. Holy crap. Okay, focus roughly there. All right, now we need to go down to. Actually, contrast is a bit too high. Turn that back down a little. Okay, monitor patterns, crosshatch. Okay, yeah, look at all right, so vertical linearity, we will adjust that pot here. That looks pretty good. Yeah, we'll say that's good. Now vertical shift, bring it down a bit. That looks good. H position, which they call phase. There we go. H amp. Oh yeah, sweet. Okay. There you go. Nice, perfect full square image. We got to turn blue down a bit. Green up slightly. Red up slightly. Okay, escape out of there. Green's too bright, but it's all right. Oh man, too bright. Way too blue. Holy cow. Well, I need to. How about that? That looks really good there. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah. Well, you guys, hold on. Let me try something. Hang on. Okay, I threw a towel up here to kind of block the light to give you a better idea, but even then, it's what you see in the screen in here is purely the camera, not sure why. Let me play around with the shutter stuff. Hang on a second. All right, now I don't seem to, this camera is too cheap to have a adjustment for the shutter speed, which is why you're seeing this. But, you know, regardless, we have successfully repaired this Hantarex Polo, 33-inch Polo, successfully repaired, successfully converted to 25-inch, looking, working, and operating in fantastic mode. So it's just those three components, the C144, C170, C174. Those are the only three components that really you have to change out. Of course, the Flyback also. So really four components. And then the other resistors in the link or in the description below if you want to do those as well. And remove that pincushion board. And that's really all you have to do. Case in point, you can see that's all I did, and it's working great. So B plus is right at 138. We had the broken PCB there that we repaired, and well, that's about it. So I'll let this run for a while, do some more little quick adjustments, make sure everything's okay. We do need to change linearity a bit because it is kind of squished on top. The life bars and the clock are ever so slightly squished a bit. So I'll work on some brightness and contrast settings and stuff, but it doesn't ultimately matter because this isn't staying on this tube. So, but it looks fantastic. Look at that. So if you can get past the flaky, wavy image, but all right, so there you go. We are now 2 for 2 on these three 33-inch polos. Got one more to do. Hopefully that one goes as well as this one. Then we have that other 25-inch that I showed at the beginning of the video that's absolutely destroyed. Actually, I think it was the beginning of the last video. I forget. I don't know. But we'll get to that. If you didn't see it or you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, we'll get to it soon enough. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, thank you very much. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.